Okay, so picture this. You're a Navy SEAL, you're just wrapping up your day on base, and suddenly your phone just blows up with texts from your teammates. They're all saying the exact same thing. Turn on the news. So you do. And there, on the screen, you see a face you know. A big, bearded guy carrying an AK-47 moving behind a tank somewhere in the Middle East. It's your old teammate. But here's the thing. He's not there with the US military. He's a civilian. What was going on? Well, it turned into this story of unbelievable courage, a decision that just defied all military logic, and a question that really echoed through the whole special operations community. What in the world was he doing there? Yeah, for his old SEAL buddies, this was the scene back in June of 2017. Just total confusion. There on their TVs was Efraim Matos, a guy they trained with, a guy they respected, but he was in a war zone he was not supposed to be in, fighting a battle that, officially, wasn't his. And the question burning in everyone's mind was immediate. And that is the central mystery we're going to unpack in this explainer. What could possibly drive a highly trained American operator to leave the entire safety net of the US military behind and just voluntarily walk into one of the most brutal war zones on the planet, completely on his own? To really understand that, we've got to go back a few years. See, long before he ever showed up on the news in Iraq, an experience he had in Afghanistan just fundamentally rewired his entire worldview. And it wasn't some huge firefight or a major battle that changed him, but a quiet, absolutely terrifying moment on a patrol. This slide really breaks down the few seconds that changed Ephraim's life forever. So it starts with a chilling discovery, a kid's backpack, but it's rigged to explode. A little while later, on patrol, he sees the threat materializing. Two little girls, no older than 5 and 7, running right at him, and they're wearing similar backpacks. You can imagine the impossible standoff. He's screaming at them to stop. He raises his rifle, puts his sights on a child, and starts to squeeze the trigger. Then, at the absolute last possible second, they stop, turn around, and run away. He didn't have to fire, but the experience of almost having to, well, that was something that would haunt him. And this is the crucial point. This one moment, this near miss, it had a bigger impact on him than any firefight he'd ever been in. He was just consumed by this question. He felt like, yeah, the military mission was important, but he had to do more for the innocent people, for the kids who were caught in the crossfire. And that feeling, it set him on a new and much, much more dangerous path. So this conviction, it just led him to a massive decision. When his Navy contract was up, he didn't re-enlist. Nope. Instead, he decided to become a civilian volunteer and head straight to the place he saw as the epicenter of cruelty against civilians, ISIS-controlled Iraq. And just to really understand the insane risk he was taking, look at this comparison. As a SEAL, right, if you get into trouble, you can call in airstrikes. If you're hurt, a helicopter's coming to get you. You've got backup. You have the full might of the US military behind you. As a civilian volunteer, you've got none of that. No air support, no medevac, no backup. If you get captured, nobody might even know you're gone. And he knew these risks better than anyone, but he went anyway. And this wasn't some casual choice, you know? He liquidated his entire life in the States, literally sold his house, packed a single bag, and just boarded a plane to northern Iraq all by himself, ready to join a small group of foreign volunteers who were providing humanitarian aid. So he arrived in March of 2017, and pretty soon he found himself on the outskirts of Mosul. For about a month, everything was focused on aid. His team distributed food, they provided medical care, but the situation on the ground was about to escalate dramatically. When the Iraqi army launched its final massive push to retake Mosul from ISIS, Ephraim's small volunteer group, who were embedded with an Iraqi armored unit, got pulled right into the fight. And just like that, they weren't just aid workers anymore. They were in a direct frontline combat role. You know, the fighting inside Mosul was unlike anything he had ever experienced. ISIS fighters were just gunning down fleeing civilians, men, women, and children, right in the streets. He would later write a book about it all, and he called it the City of Death, because that's exactly what it felt like, a place where his brain just couldn't process the sheer scale of the barbarism. Then, on June 1st, after setting up a makeshift aid station, Ephraim and his team pushed even deeper into ISIS-held territory to check out rumors of a massacre. What they found would lead to the defining moment of his entire life. 200 plus. Peeking around a corner, Ephraim saw the source of the rumors, a street just littered with the bodies of over 200 civilians, all of them gunned down by ISIS snipers firing from a bombed-out hospital. But as he's scanning this absolute carnage, he sees movement. A little girl hiding under her dead mother, and 2 wounded men nearby. They had to get them out, right now. So, working with the Iraqi army, they cooked up this multi-step plan. First, get some US artillery to create a smoke screen to block the sniper's view. Second, an Iraqi tank would roll in to provide mobile cover. Third, a Humvee would follow right behind it. The team runs out, grabs the survivors, piles in, and both vehicles reverse to safety. It was a solid plan. But just as they were about to go, the Humvee driver, he backed out, said it was too dangerous. And with the American artillery already on the way, there was no time to find a replacement. They had one shot at this. The mission was still a go, but now, Ephraim and his team would have to do it on foot. As the smoke shells burst, the tank rolls forward into a hail of machine gun fire from 2 directions. And tucked behind it, totally exposed, are Ephraim and his team. They reach the pile of bodies, they grab the girl and the men, but one of the wounded guys slips and falls right into the tank's path. Ephraim dives, rolls him out of the way just in time, but now they're both outside the tank's cover. Realizing he can't move the badly wounded man fast enough, Ephraim makes this gut-wrenching choice. He has to leave him to save the others. As he scrambles back behind the tank, a bullet tears right through his leg. Despite his wound, somehow, Ephraim and the team managed to hobble back to safety with the little girl and the other man. The chaos was over, and the adrenaline starts to fade, replaced by the pain and just this overwhelming sense of what had just happened. At a nearby aid station, as Ephraim is lying on a cot, his leg bandaged up, he looks over and he sees the little girl he just risked everything for. She's in shock, but she's alive. An Iraqi doctor comes over to him, gestures towards the girl, and says those words. In that moment, all of it, it was worth it. And that rescue, that private moment of chaos and bravery, it wasn't private at all. Unbeknownst to them, a journalist who was documenting war crimes had filmed the entire thing. He posted the footage online, it went viral, and suddenly, Ephraim Matos was on every news channel in the world. He was the man his teammates saw that day back in Virginia. So Ephraim's leg eventually healed, and he came back to the US. But the man who came back was not the same one who left. The horror he witnessed and the hope he felt saving Damoa, it forged a new, lifelong purpose for him. He founded his own nonprofit, Stronghold Rescue and Relief. He basically took his singular, desperate mission to save one little girl and turned it into an organization dedicated to protecting families who are trapped in the world's most dangerous places, from Burma all the way back to Iraq. This quote is the motto of his organization, and it just perfectly encapsulates the choice he made, doesn't it? A choice that began with a moment of hesitation in Afghanistan and ended with an act of incredible bravery in Iraq. It really leaves you wondering what it truly means to serve and what one person is willing to risk when they decide that doing nothing is just no longer an option.